Hadouken!
What's going on, peeps? Mastermind here. So today's video, I want to talk about EVO 2016 and what my overall impressions were of this great event. And I want to talk a little bit about the competitors and a little bit about the games, and of course the ESPN presentation and just the overall event as I saw it. Now, I didn't attend EVO this year. I think I'm going to try to make my best effort to do it next year, because I think what we saw at EVO this year, I think it's gonna pretty much change the way EVO is operated forever. And even other tournaments, I think, are gonna start trying to model themselves a little bit more after what we just saw. Because I mean, everybody's trying to be EVO and do what EVO does, but we all know EVO is like the big main fighting game event. But I think now, like Combo Breaker, CEO, and some of the other ones will probably start, upping their game a little bit. So I'm going to get into all of that. The first thing I want to talk about as far as EVO is concerned, and I don't want to start off negative, but there are a couple of issues that really annoyed me that I want to kind of get over. The first thing I want to get over is Pokken tournament. I don't consider this a fighting game. I don't understand why this game is at EVO. I understand it's popular. I understand anything Nintendo touches is popular. I get it. I understand it. But I just don't feel like that's a traditional fighting game enough. Heck, I don't feel that way about Smash Brothers, but I can understand why Smash Brothers is at EVO. I really didn't understand this. And one of the things that annoyed me, as everybody knows, I'm a big Killer Instinct person, and obviously Killer Instinct, and I want to get into that, it had the least amount of entries, and it was the least popular as far as competitors for EVO. And that's really alarming to me, because I think Killer Instinct is one of the best fighting games out there, if not the best and most complete fighting game of this generation so far. And the fact that it's just not getting the attention it deserves, and in fact, they didn't even have a separate stream for Killer Instinct's top 16. So a lot of those matches, even in top 8, we missed because of the Pokken tournament going on. We had to wait till that was finished, and oh my god, was that so boring, so slow. They didn't have that set up and ready, Killer Instinct. If you're gonna have Pokken, okay, have another stream. Iron Galaxy, why didn't you guys stream top 16, top 8 of Killer Instinct? Or have Maximilian do it like he did one year. I don't understand why all of those matches and all of that stuff just got totally ignored. For Pokken, I know a lot of people in the chat and a lot of KI fans were like, hey, where's KI? And in fact, on the main stage, somebody, I don't know if you guys noticed it, but some guy was holding a sign saying, when's KI? And I loved it, because every time they had a new guy coming into the main stage, you would see this sign, and it was just a reminder, to me at least, that KI deserved to be there, and it would have really benefited from being on the main stage. Unfortunately, not only was it not on the main stage, but it really didn't get the coverage that it deserved, and I'm really bummed out over that. The other thing is Smash Brothers Melee. I don't understand this. Okay, let me break this down. Let me see if I can just wrap this around my mind. And maybe some of you guys can help me out if you're a Smash Brothers fan. Okay, so Street Fighter 4. The Street Fighter series in general is the top fighting game out there. Everybody knows this. Street Fighter is the main event. Has been, probably always will be. So Street Fighter 4 had been dominating for years, the different iterations of Street Fighter 4. Now all of a sudden Street Fighter 5 comes along, and it's kind of incomplete. It's not really, all the way complete the way we want it. It's obviously going to be a lot different in a few years from now. And Street Fighter 5 comes out, but Capcom, along with EVO, they say, hey, this is the new Street Fighter. This is what we're working on from now on. A lot of you love Street Fighter 4. Hey, a lot of you like Third Strike. But you know what? We're going to move on and we're going to Street Fighter 5. I don't understand how come the same logic is not applied to Melee. Melee is not as popular as Street Fighter 4 was. If it was overwhelmingly more popular, I'd understand. But this is what we got. We got Melee on the main stage. A game that's, I don't even know how many years old. And then Smash Brothers Wii U takes a backseat to Melee. I don't understand this. And I'm not trying to hate on Nintendo, but let's be honest here. I mean, we have much more traditional fighting games than what you see, and Nintendo seems to be taking up a lot of space when it comes to their games. I don't have a problem with the Wii U version because it's the newest version, and that's the version that should be out there. That's the version Nintendo should be pushing, and the fans should be pushing to either improve if they're not too crazy about it, or try to understand the game a little bit better and get better at it, because it doesn't seem to be any worse or that much worse than Melee. In fact, from what I've seen and actually played it myself, I actually like the newer version better, but that's a story for another day. I'm going to say that the commentary is a little bit inconsistent. You have some guys that are really good and really got their stuff going, and then you have other groups that aren't so great. And I think the best ones that are there is like Sajam. I like Ultra David. James Chen is just phenomenal. Maximilian, Seth Killian. There's a lot of guys that are doing their thing. And but just there are some other ones, and I'm not gonna call anybody out or say anything bad about anybody, but I just think it's a little bit inconsistent, and I would like to see more consistency when it comes to the actual commentating at these events. It's Evo is getting big. They're doing it up big, and after what I saw in ESPN presentation, let me tell you, I don't want to see another big major fighting game on Twitch. I just don't want to see it anymore. From now on, and I know obviously this isn't going to happen, but I want to see this big presentation just like what we saw on ESPN. I was really impressed with the ESPN presentation. I thought I was watching like a prize fight. It was great. It was really, really great. They had personal story backgrounds. They had Long Island Joe. They were really pushing him because he was the American. Mike Ross was hilarious. He was, he sounded like he was doing commentating for a big boxing fight or a UFC fight. And, Seth did a great job. And then they had Gutex on the side. And it was just so good. And they were interviewing. And then in between some of the rounds and the matches, they were showing this guy's father. And I thought they focused a little bit too much on Long Island Joe. But I understand because he was an American. But, a lot of these other Japanese guys should have got a little bit more attention in that kind of little realm. It was a little bit unbalanced what they were showing, but it was still cool as hell, and it was really epic. And I love the way they showed the instant replays. They didn't cut to commercial like in the middle of the match or in the middle of a set. They waited until it was done. It was just so much better. And I was actually watching the stream at the same time as I was watching the ESPN. And the stream, the delay is about, for me, it was about 40 to 60 seconds. So watching it on television, it was obviously much more of a live event than what you see on the stream if you were watching them simultaneously. And I just loved everything about it. And I can say the only thing that bothered me about the presentation is that they didn't show the game in full screen. They kind of put it in a box. And I understand, I think, why they did that, because they have their little crawl on the bottom, the little ticker, and they would show scores or whatever. So I think it would kind of get in the way of looking at the full game if it was doing that. Another thing that kind of bothered me was that new stage. They could have changed it up a little bit. I understand what the whole idea and the hype was. They wanted to make it kind of like an official tournament kind of thing, but maybe they should have saved it for the beginning, first couple of matches, and then maybe for the grand finals. But it was obvious that they wanted every single match to be there. Even though it was boxed in and you couldn't really, it wasn't full screen, to see it in full HD without any of the jumping and the glitching and that, you know, washed out kind of stream look that you get. No matter how good the stream is, it's never quite, you know, it's never quite clear enough. But when I saw that on ESPN, I was like, oh man, this looks beautiful. This looks almost as good as when you're playing the game live. And that's how you want to see these tournaments. You want to see, you know, all of the game's detail and the graphics and the animation. You want to see all of that when you watch a tournament. So I thought it was really good, and I really wish that they continue to do that. The three main games I was interested in was Killer Instinct, Mortal Kombat, and Street Fighter V. I did watch some Tekken 7, and I thought that was pretty cool. It was a lot of fun to watch. Guilty Gear was a lot of fun to watch as well. Let me start off with Mortal Kombat X. I'm not going to stay on this subject too long, but you got to give it to Sonic Fox, man. I mean, this kid, I don't even understand how somebody so young is beating a lot of these guys who've been playing fighting games for years and years and years. I mean, he's a young guy, and he's really got his stuff together, and I actually was a little bit worried in the beginning. I was like, oh, you know, I don't know if he's going to do this. And, you know, he did. And he won again. And he is like the up and coming star in the FGC community. And it's pretty amazing. If Mortal Kombat, see, the thing is, Mortal Kombat is not going to ever probably be on ESPN because of the violence. So we'll probably never see that game on the main stage. But I would definitely like to see him do the same kind of thing with Injustice, and see if maybe Injustice ends up on a big stage, and maybe even one day, you know, other fighting games are broadcast on ESPN, and see him doing that, because I think he's marketable, he's young, and you know, it was cool. It was cool. I mean, he got so nervous, he took off his hat, like you've never seen that. Like the drama was just, you know, the hype was just all the way up, so that was really good. As far as Killer Instinct is concerned, I'm going to say that I think Sleep consistently over the last maybe year, I'm going to say he's probably the best KI player out there. I know everybody was saying Rico Suave was the best, and I don't know if he's just into it as much as he used to be, but he's just not dominating, nowhere near what he did in Season 2, and nowhere near what some people are expecting of him. Sleep is just, you know, he used gargles, and that really surprised me how he was able to win with that character. And Killer Instinct, I wish I was able to, you know, see more of that tournament. It was the one I was most excited for. I was a little disappointed. LCD didn't show up. I really like watching his Kim-Woo, and you know, I watch his stream and stuff. You know, another young kid that I think if he really applied himself would probably get a lot of attention. Now in Street Fighter V, man, what a weird ass tournament. So many of the guys that you expected to be there got eliminated, and they got eliminated a little earlier than, I mean, some of them didn't even make top 8. I mean, Takedo, I was shocked that this guy got eliminated. Justin Wong was the one I was rooting for. I think Justin Wong is really incredible. He's just a great player. He's really good, and I wanted to see him do better. I think he came in 13th place. He was tied for 13th with a couple of other people, but oh man, you know, I was, you know, especially when he eliminated Daigo, that was like, oh yeah, this guy, you know, he's in losers, but he's on his way, he's fighting, and he just can't seem to beat Chun-Li. I think he lost to 2 Chun-Li players. So that tells me this guy, he can play Marvel. He can play several games at a time and be very competitive in it. So I don't understand why he's not using more than one character in Street Fighter V. I don't know. I think he needs an alternate character, and I'd like to see him go further. Justin Wong should have been on that main stage for Street Fighter. Unfortunately, he didn't make it. Daigo didn't make it. Takedo didn't make it. Momochi didn't make it. And the list goes on and on. It was really surprising. But Fudo did really good. I thought he was going to win it, but Infiltration is just, he's the best right now. Right now, that's the 2016 Daigo. In fact, I don't think anybody in the fighting game community is doing the things that this guy's doing. My only thing is I'm not a big fan of Nash. Nash is kind of boring to me. He wasn't my favorite characters. I know early on people were saying, oh, Nash this, Nash that, but I never really cared for the character. But to see what Infiltration is doing with this guy, and then his interview at the end was so epic. The download completed thing was just so cool. So Infiltration just rocked it. Really great Evo. What I want to see more in the future is, you know, I would like to see them continue to up the presentation, and not just with ESPN, but do it on the streams as well, do it on Twitch as well, and really get this and make this professional. And I think the more exposure obviously this is going to get, the more competitors we're going to see. And the fighting game community may look totally different a couple of years from now, because if there's a lot of people joining in trying to win these things, you never know. We might find some serious talent out there, and you know, we might have some of these kings that we've been watching all these years get dethroned. So who knows? But anyway, that is going to be it for my long video rant. If you got something to say, leave a comment down below, and don't forget to like, share, and of course subscribe. Thank you once again for watching. Mastermind out.